Okay,
Yeah,
so
yes. I'm very confused since I lost like I think 10 minutes. Can
okay,
someone give me like a quick summary?
we just started right now turning on the Nearpod session. We're on slide 2, just talking about and giving just an introduction to the career pathways in reference to that, how to set SMART goals and action steps. That's what we're going to be covering. And to build upon our previous sessions of identifying strengths and personal priorities is what we're going to be doing here. So as we see, we're going to be reviewing our SMART goals and action steps first, and then is this goal SMART? So we're going to go back and make sure setting our goals, sharing our goals, and then my future life. Any questions or doubts until now? So we need to make sure our goals are meaningful, realistic, and obviously that we are not stretching what we believe we can do, right? So, what is one thing you learn about yourself by asking this question, who am I and where am I? How can it help us in goal setting?
It's to find out the needs and wants of what you want in life and what you are gonna do in the near future. So you're doing like future orientation.
That's a good one. Thank you. Anyone else want to share out?
Sometimes it can help looking back at yourself, as in what you've done so far, to figure out what you want to continue doing as time goes on.
Let me give you an example. Let's say I tell you my goal is that I want money. I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with that one.
We're gonna get that money.
Is it explaining to you my goal? Is it being smart, what I've just told you? That's my goal. Is it smart?
Nope. Nope.
No, right?
It's not really specific, measurable, and all that other stuff. I mean,
yeah, I could say maybe I will save weekly $500 a week. By the end of the year, I plan to have so much, and by 2 years, so forth, and have a clear understanding what I expect for the short term of this goal, so I can also be able to check, right? We're going to continuously check. What is it that I'm going to be doing within 2 to 3 months, maybe a year, 5 years? All these we have to look on, obviously, until the goal is being completed, depending on the length of the goal itself. So we need to be able to build short and long-term SMART goals as we reflect on your strengths and priorities that we wrote down from the other day. Create an action plan to accomplish these goals from your own career journey. You guys still have that handy for yourselves? Good. We should be still looking at those. So, Jordan, who am I and where am I is like using a map. So how would SMART help us here? How would SMART help us out in making sure that we are effective?
It just helps you be more specific with yourself. If you just have vague goals as I want money, I want to be rich, or I want to be famous, everyone wants to do those things, but how are you going to go about doing it? How are you going to get to that? That's how you got to figure it out smart.
Yeah,
It just helps set like a.
We definitely have to, after we do our goals, we obviously have action steps. We have to create a plan to try to execute this, right? The smaller goals with action steps and milestones keep us motivated, because if we just concentrate on the end game a lot of times people tend to give up. We want to make sure that we have little touch points that we can check and or adjust ourselves so that we could be able to adjust our goal and or obviously ourselves to meet the goal, whichever it is that partakes in it. SMART goals always periodically are being checked. We don't leave them until the last minute to make sure that we are on target. So just not creating it is sufficient. To identify the 5 elements of a SMART goal, we're going to form groups now, and using the provided handout, you have 7 minutes to independently determine and record your own SMART goals. Questions? Doubts? Should have a sheet that says your goal, challenges, action steps. You have that? Yes, no, maybe, so.
I have it.
Only see a handle that says my future self.
Correct. No, that's, but I believe from before we had something. If not, I'll make sure I'll post this one in there. But we want
have another one?
something similar like this. For instance, why don't we do something like this? This is something I was coming up with. We have our goals, challenges, and action steps. So we're gonna have a goal by the end of generation, and after the completion, and within 1 year, what we think we could have. More or less 3 goals, right? Challenges and action steps. Save this. All right, let me attach it then real quick. So let's continue from here, and thank you guys for sharing, obviously, your current goals. From that, what we've practiced here, let's then now continue. I'm about to open up the breakout rooms one more time. Our next part is setting our goals. We're gonna go and create a SMART goals as we saw, and obviously go and grab our goals, put them into those boxes that I provided for you guys for your short term, mid, and then long term. They should address obviously any challenges that you may expect to meet and when achieving this goal. Obviously, action steps to overcome the challenges should be part of our plan to make sure that we obviously are looking at the known unknowns. Obviously, we can't do anything about the unknown unknowns. That's the way we call risks and or challenges. And within the technical world, we need to be able to address those known unknowns so that when they come up, we obviously have some sort of plan to be able to meet the challenge. Any questions or doubts before we go back into our breakout rooms?
So right now we're combining the 2 handouts for the goal, correct?
We're right now going in. Yes, we already got hopefully the first goal filled out, right? So we have an idea of what our goal is going to be short term, long term, or midterm. Our goal now for this part is we're going to try to fill out that chart completely. We're going to look at the 3 goals once again. Right now we're trying to help one of us so we can practice as a team to create one chart. And then obviously within the time frame of when this activity is due, I think it's in a week or 2, we said, we want to make sure our whole team has been able to create their own short, mid, and long term using this as a template, or at least as an idea to make sure that we have the correct steps in place and practice how to create it. Obviously, you reference your personal priorities that you've done from before, and or as Lázaro stated, if you already filled out that other chart where it's talking about your personal goals and or ideas to try to get your goals oriented. That other sheet is more to get your goal oriented and have an idea of what you should be going for. Obviously, we're trying to concentrate towards your actual career path and who you are and where you want to be. Any questions? Okay, I'll open up then the anytime now. So, how did it go? What was the biggest challenge on creating one of your goals? Anybody had a challenge in creating one of their goals?
There were challenges for me because there's a lot of uncertainty right now,
Oh yeah,
and
you're about to
I
get
noticed
beat
that
by
affects all my goals down a little chain.
Definitely. I mean, obviously, it's not easy to concentrate on all aspects, and that's an eye opener. A lot of people don't realize we should have short, mid, and long-term goals if we really are interested in continuously advancing. Part of future orientation is that, right? So we're going to continuously grow and look at if we've met a goal, what is the next step? Where am I going? Am I going to stay stagnant? Am I going to stay here? If we don't plan accordingly, then obviously when the time comes, then now we're going to have to start all over and try to create goals without having actually any line in sight or an idea of what we wanted to do because we haven't planned accordingly. What will you do to overcome some of these challenges that you guys recorded in Team 2? You guys come up with any ideas to overcome the challenge to any of your certain goals that you guys came up with?
Having better study habits.
Study habits and time, maybe, right? Study habits
Yeah,
and time management for studying.
Yeah,
absolutely.
which we're already having this week, hopefully.
So,
Everything goes well.
which out of all the goals is making you the most nervous and why? Either team.
Me, it's actually internet.
And for him was the internet?
The
Yeah,
internet.
because there's a lot of stuff that is related to my goals that need internet, and because I don't have stable internet, it's a huge challenge for me.
One of the things we could do is work around, obviously it's not great, but nowadays some of our providers allow us to share hotspot from our phones. I mean, that's a workaround. As when that challenge comes in, you could try to use that as a solution, temporary solution to patch, no?
Yeah,
Well,
I could try that.
they opened it up?
The who? Open up who? I'm sorry?
No. For example, my T-Mobile account doesn't let me do hotspot with my phone unless it is an Apple device already registered in the same account where I can tether to
Yeah, I
it.
mean, not all providers obviously allow that, but there is some providers that do. That have a certain amount that you can do hotspots. And then obviously we don't want to state it, but there's obviously other ways around it for those that don't, but we shouldn't be doing those type of things. Or at least admitting it.
Yeah,
More generally, are you learning about this process, guys? What have you learned about this process of setting goals? Has it opened your eyes at all? Pablo,
It has
Jordan?
for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead. Trevor, Carlos, Pablo.
Definitely. I mean, it's good to think about them because, like you said, like you just have like at least for now like a rough draft, it's just the beginning. But at the same time, we could dive in deep and really tackle those things that actually matter and maybe detail a plan towards the end goal.
Definitely. So I'm going to give you guys about less than 5 minutes here to wrap up. If you haven't created my future self handout, please do. Try to make sure you have that because that's obviously going to help you to try to think about your goals if you didn't have a chance yet to create it. And obviously, if you have already done that, continue on with obviously your team, setting your goals, making sure we identify the challenges associated with those goals and what plans we can put in, okay? Give you guys about less than 5 minutes. Now it's 4 minutes to wrap that up. Any questions, doubts? Here goes your rooms. Welcome back, everybody. This system loves to mute me right when I switch the room. Sorry about that. So hopefully we all by now have an idea how to build a short and long-term goals as they reflect to your own strengths and personal priorities. This is not your friend's Joe. It is your priorities based on your own personal priorities and or career. Obviously, we should be able to also create an action plan to accomplish our goals and to hopefully either mitigate, transfer any of these challenges that may come along. Any questions or doubts? No? All right, let me stop the recording.